Today we are going to make trail mix. The ingredients are raisins, M&Ms, pretzels, peanuts, and mini marshmallows. For this recipe, you need 1 cup of each ingredient. Go to your local grocery store and buy at least 1 cup of raisins, M&Ms, pretzels, peanuts, and mini marshmallows. After you buy the ingredients, you will need to gather your materials. Get a large bowl, a measuring cup, and a mixing spoon. Measure 1 cup of raisins and pour them into the bowl. Then measure 1 cup of M&Ms and add them to the bowl. Measure 1 cup of pretzels and add them to the bowl. Do the same with the peanuts and mini marshmallows. Finally, stir all of the ingredients together. Serve and enjoy.
Today we are going to make trail mix. For this recipe, you will need a mixing bowl, a measuring cup, and a spoon, as well as the ingredients for the actual trail mix. Our trail mix is going to consist of raisins, M&Ms, pretzels, peanuts, and mini marshmallows. I am going to be making our recipe for about 6 to 8 people. However, the great thing about trail mix is that you can make it for as little or as many people as you want. Adapt to your recipe accordingly. First, I'm going to take my raisins and measure out 1 cup. I'm going to add my cup of raisins to the bowl. Next, I'm going to do the same with my M&Ms. Now I'm going to add 1 cup of pretzels. Next, 1 cup of peanuts. And finally, 1 cup of mini marshmallows. Another great thing about this recipe is if you have a favorite ingredient, you can add a little extra. For example, I love chocolate, so I'm just going to pour a few extra M&Ms into my trail mix. To ensure that all of my trail mix gets mixed evenly and I don't get a handful of just mini marshmallows or M&Ms, I'm going to go ahead and mix it all together. Once it is mixed evenly, it is time to enjoy.
Media utilization. What is it? Media utilization is a subdomain under utilization. Other subdomains include diffusion of innovation, implementation of institutionalization, and policies and regulations. Media utilization is defined as the systematic use of resources for learning. AECT discusses the domain of media utilization in terms of selecting specific materials and activities that complement individual learners. Media utilization prepares the learner for being engaged with materials, with a resource during the interaction, an assessment of the results of experiences, and integrating the process of selecting materials and strategies into a particular organization on a regular basis. What are some of the main theories and key principles? Media utilization needs to be systematic, should apply resources appropriately, and be appropriate for the instructional design of the lesson. How does it relate to the domain and other domains? Media utilization relates to the domain utilization because they both use resources for learning. Media utilization applies systems to resources for learning, whereas utilization is the act of using processes and resources. Media utilization relates to the domain design in that instructional systems design. Therefore, they are both implementing systems. Media utilization relates to the domain development because development is the physical resources and media utilization is using those resources. Media utilization relates to the domain management because management could be the planning, organization, coordinating, and supervising of the systematic use of resources for learning, also known as media utilization. Finally, media utilization relates to the domain evaluation because the teacher must analyze the appropriate resources and utilize the type of media that is appropriate for the learners. How can we use it for teaching and learning? Since media utilization is defined as the systematic use of resources for learning, it could be used for teaching and learning because appropriate implementation and adaptation of resources must be considered when planning engaging lessons for all learners to be active. What are some examples? An example of the implementation of media utilization would be the appropriate use of a document camera for systematic routines such as note-taking. Another example would be the Promethean board, which is an interactive whiteboard used to enhance reading-based and mathematic-based instruction. Computer and laptops would also be examples of media utilization. Finally, instruction and interactive videos, websites, such as BrainPop Jr. and Safari Montage would also be examples of media utilization. Why is it significant? Media utilization increases students' knowledge and skills. The teacher must analyze and utilize the type of media that is appropriate for the learners.